So, the backlash against disco was real. What happens when rock artists were doing disco? They caught some major backlash. Could you imagine rock and pop acts catching backlash today by doing hip hop? I mean, you've had country artists working with that, but cross contamination in the 70s, it was more polarizing. I'll give you a case in point. Kiss did I Was Made for Loving You, which was considered a disco song. Now, that raised some eyebrows, but Kiss was always kind of like tongue in cheek type of group. So they were in the rock format, but they were never seriously considered serious. No one really took them. They thought, that's typical. And I bring this up to mention that there were other, which just goes to show you that other people will try different things. You know, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it don't. Some people clown you. Sometimes you get a backlash. It all depends on who you are, what you do, you know. Uh Obviously when Rod Stewart did Do You Think I'm Sexy, that one got backlash. As a matter of fact, some people sneered at him and laughed at him, you know, because he was trying to be hot and happening. And he went on that route for a while. And he did catch backlash. There were people that had problems with that. They didn't like the fact that their rock star heroes were doing disco music, which was a code word for black and what have you. And so they had a problem with it. That's why when they had the Demolition Disco Night in 79, that was in part of it because they was supposedly. But this is the thing, uh, a lot of music that's been popular, people have appropriated and done it, and so they wanted in on some of it because it was hot and happening. What has ever changed with that? But people have had their hangups for years, and they've continued to. You had Ethel Mormay doing disco records. I mean, there's a lot of everybody was getting on board with it. You know, people wanted to be hip and chic, and they wanted to see what was going on. So it's interesting because I remember when hip hop later on with that, but again, some people were cool with it, some weren't. But it was really personal. Rock musicians, when they did disco, they faced the backlash. Some people, that's why the Bee Gees had to write songs for other artists because they really did hit a backlash. Sad to say, they couldn't just write their songs and go in peace and collect their wealth. People had problems with it. So it's a reality that wasn't that long ago. It was really real. I'll give you another good case in point. It's a classic song, and it's one of the best songs in the Rolling Stones catalog. It's Miss You. But when it came out, there were some people that thought they sold out for disco. Telling you, there are people who have a problem with rock music artists doing disco. And it's a real interesting piece if you go back in time and you think about it. People spoke out about it, you know, didn't want them being associated with it, didn't want them to do it. But music is music. Now, the one thing you know about the Rolling Stones and someone like Rod Stewart, they loved anything that was coming out the R&B black side of music. So that's nothing new. And they jumped on board to what was happening. But when you had Brian Adams, his first big hit was a disco song back in 79. A lot of people forget that because they know how big he blew with his Reckless album and the other songs he had, Summer 69 and all that. But his first big hit was a disco song. So everybody was on board. It's always funny when people talk about that ain't this and that and the other, but music has been divisive for a lot of folks. So I thought I'd bring it up about when rock music artists were doing disco and the backlash because it was real. And if you want to read more about it, you can read that up on Google. And there are videos about it, talk about it. Of course, when you get to Demolition Night and all that. But some of their favorite rock stars were doing disco. And they had t shirts and things that said, I sold my soul for rock and roll, even though rock and roll was a intimate term for black music and for intimacy. But people never bothered to go about actual and factual. They used that, you know. So just saying, do your history. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shit if you like, and hit that membership because when you do requests come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.